All right. Now we're in Unit 1 heat, and we're looking at heat versus temperature. We've just looked at the kinetic molecular theory of heat, which states that heat or thermal energy is caused by the kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. Now we're going to define that. So, thermal energy, right here. I just said it. Thermal energy is defined as the kinetic energy. So, kinetic energy being the amount of movement the kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. Right, and we looked at it. A solid has a low amount of kinetic energy, so have low thermal energy. Then a liquid will have higher thermal energy. And then even higher than liquid, a gas will have even higher thermal energy. So this is high thermal energy. And high thermal energy means lots of motion. And this has a low thermal energy, which means less motion. Right, so thermal energy is just the kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. Solids have a low thermal energy, gases have higher thermal energy. Now look at this example. The particles in each item have different amounts of energy or heat. So you can see I just assigned them numbers. 6, this one has, let's say, 6 energy units. That means it's moving a lot more than this one, which only has 2 energy units. Okay, so let's take a look at these two objects. Which one has more thermal energy in it? Well, this one here has 6, 12, 16 units of thermal energy in total. And this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 4 is 24, 32 units of thermal energy. So the individual particles have either 6 units and 2 units, and in this one the individual particles also have 6 units and 2 units. This one has more thermal energy simply because there are more particles, more mass. So we can write that down. The more mass something has, the more thermal energy is possible. Okay, so let's say, just as an example, I have a 1 kilogram block of steel. And let's just say it's 20 degrees Celsius for now. And then I have a 10 kilogram block of steel, which is also 20 degrees Celsius. Which one of these two will have more thermal energy? Well, since thermal energy is the total amount of motion, this one has more motion in it because there's more particles. So there's more thermal energy in here. So thermal energy is the total amount of energy, of kinetic energy. particles. So the thermal energy is the total amount of kinetic energy of the molecules, of the particles of the substance. So I'm going to write that again up here. It is a total amount, and you can't measure it. It is always calculated. We can figure it out. We can't measure it. There's nothing to measure the total amount of thermal energy in something. We have to do some calculation to figure out the total amount of thermal energy. We can measure the temperature, but that doesn't tell us the total amount of thermal energy in an object. It tells us something else. But we can use the temperature to calculate the total amount of thermal energy, depending on how much mass there is. All right, so in the next section, we'll take a look at how to transfer energy. Hope you remember what thermal energy is.